On a quiet morning in an Ohio courtroom, a man named Eric Cox stood before the judge for the 7th time. 7 times arrested for driving under the influence. 7 times given another chance. But today, the room felt different. Today, everyone knew this case carried a weight that could no longer be ignored. The judge reviewed the file. The attorneys prepared their arguments. And Eric Cox, a business owner, a fiancé, a son, and a man battling years of untreated mental health struggles, waited for the consequences he knew were coming. This is the story of a man who failed, fell apart, and finally faced a moment that could change his life forever. The prosecutor stepped forward first. Her voice was firm, controlled, determined. She didn't mince words. She asked the court for prison time, not probation, not treatment, not another chance. This was Eric's 7th DUI, 7th OVI, as Ohio calls it. And this time, he'd been driving under suspension. He wasn't even legally allowed to be on the road. The state laid out its request clearly: a prison sentence, a lifetime driver's license suspension, and recognition that Eric had shown no regard for the law. The judge listened carefully, and the tension in the courtroom grew. Next, Eric's attorney rose to speak, not to deny the charges, not to excuse the behavior, but to explain the man behind the mistakes. He did something unusual. He agreed that Eric would likely go to prison. He agreed that punishment was deserved. But then he revealed something the court had never fully understood. For 25 years, Eric Cox had been treated for depression. Doctors prescribed antidepressants. Therapists treated him as someone suffering from deep sadness. But they were wrong. In June, everything changed. A proper evaluation revealed that Eric had bipolar disorder, not depression. And the medications he had been taking for years didn't help him. They made him worse. The attorney explained that Eric's manic highs, his moments of reckless confidence, often led directly to dangerous decisions. Driving drunk, driving suspended, believing he could handle things he absolutely could not. But now, for the first time in his life, Eric was receiving proper treatment. Lithium, a medication that could stabilize a disorder that had silently controlled him for decades. His lawyer pleaded for mercy, not to erase the crime, but to give Eric a genuine chance at a life he had never been able to fully control. His mother and fiancé sat behind him, silent, hopeful, afraid. Then the judge turned to Eric. "Is there anything you'd like to say?" For a moment, everything was still. And then he spoke, not with excuses, but with the voice of a man who finally understood the weight of his actions. "I'm sorry," he said. "I am really sorry. I accept that I deserve to be punished." He admitted what most defendants never do. He knew he had been given light sentences in the past. He knew he had been lucky, and he knew this time would be different. But he also said something else, something that caught the courtroom's attention. He finally understood why he had been spiraling for so many years. The bipolar disorder diagnosis gave him hope that his life could change, that the person he wanted to be could finally match the person he tried to be. With a trembling voice, he said, "I don't want to behave like this. I don't want to hurt someone. That's not me." Okay, a long moment before speaking. He acknowledged Eric's struggles. He acknowledged the mental health component. He even said he felt compassion. But then his tone shifted. "Mr. Cox, this is your 7th OVI. You were already on probation when you committed this one, and your blood alcohol level was extremely high." The judge looked down at the history. Years of minimum sentences, years of warnings, years of second chances. No more. He asked a chilling question. What if you had hurt someone? What if your reckless choice had taken a life? That possibility, that nightmare, hung in the air. The judge made his decision. Scene 5, the sentence, 6:10 to 7:25. The courtroom fell silent as the judge read the sentence. For the OVI charge, 24 months in prison. Eric would receive credit for 13 days already served. But he would spend at least 120 days behind bars before he could even be considered for release. Then came the part that would change the rest of his life. A lifetime suspension of his driver's license. No more driving. Not next year. Not in 10 years. Not ever. The judge acknowledged Eric's acceptance of responsibility and even promised to consider early judicial release if Eric proved he was committed to changing his life. But for now, the consequences were real. Heavy, final, ending 7:25 to 8 o'clock. As the hearing ended, the deputy stepped behind Eric, and the judge ordered him into custody. Eric turned, looked at his family one last time, and whispered final, "I'm sorry." This wasn't the story of a criminal mastermind or a violent offender, but a man battling the demons inside him. Demons he didn't even know how to fight until it was nearly too late. Today's sentence wasn't just punishment. It was a turning point, a moment of reckoning, and maybe a chance at redemption. Because sometimes the harshest consequences are the ones that finally save a life.